I wanted to bring James back because a lot of new exciting things happening with his company. And, and frankly, I got a whole bunch of email from our viewers because we haven't heard from him in a couple weeks. So guess who's here? James Sapirstein. That's how important we are. Jim, how are you, bud? Good to see you.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, catch us up. What's the latest of what's going on there? I know and we should probably send you that commercial that we did without your approval or consent. Probably get that off to you.
It was a nice surprise. Well done.
You like that, huh? You can use it anytime you want, and we'll send it over to you.
For free.
Give us the update. What's happening over there?
Well, if anyone's been holding our stock, they know we announced a stock split. Unfortunately, I hate doing stock splits, but we needed to do that to be in compliance with NASDAQ. So that's complete. Stock is kind of stabilized at this point. And we will have some announcements coming very, very soon. I can't divulge what it is, except it's very, very soon on some of our formulation.
James, are you guys okay? Obviously, our COVID pandemic it turned into an endemic, and a lot of the efforts for a lot of biopharma companies that shifted it for the time being are shifting back. Are we going back into the closamide works and the GI symptoms and such that we talked about in the pre-roll there?
Yes and no. I think we're still waiting for the ulcerative proctitis data to come back. Obviously, we were disappointed with the COVID results, but right now, we're really focusing our funds in adrulopase for cystic fibrosis. That's part of our announcement that's coming the next couple of weeks, and we're pretty excited about it. It's a big deal to us, and we can go with a low-cost study before the year is out. So we're going to focus on that for now.
If when you talk about FDA, and we're looking at the arc of some of the story of some of your therapies going through, FDA was concentrated for so long on COVID therapies and COVID vaccines and such. There was a thought there might have been a backlog because of that. Now there's a backlog anyway in the FDA, if I'm not mistaken, right? Where are we at with the FDA post, or I guess COVID 2.0 or 3.0 or wherever we're at right now?
That's a great question. I've told you before, I sit on the board of Bio, and you probably saw, the new, Inflation Reduction Bill that was passed. And in there was some specificities in terms of funding some parts of the FDA. And, the public never saw that. But that's what's going on right now, is figuring out a way to redeploy some resources to FDA to kind of get rid of this backlog. It's a huge issue for all companies in biotech.
Yeah, and I think, a piece of this is you guys all had to, every single biopharma company that we follow, and every biopharma company that you read about has had to do like a shape shift in the last 18 months in one way or another. There's a few that are staying the course, and thankfully for that. But it's been a tough couple of years for biopharma after it was sort of a boon because of COVID. You guys think you guys have a plan to move in the next direction, huh?
Well, we do. We just have to manage our way through. At the top of the FDA, there's been a lot of changes, so we're worried about the inconsistencies. We have people that come in who don't have the experience of people before, so they ask you for a lot more information than they did before. That takes time. It takes time and money. So that's, going back to your original question, that's kind of why we're really just focused on adrulopase, because to go out and fund the closamide fully right now with everything we want to do is going to be a lot of capital. And, we have to be very careful balancing our share price with the capital that we take in.
James, how do you guys make the how do you triage the decisions when you're talking about the HIV, SARS, Ebola, COVID virus, then you talk about GI issues and even cystic fibrosis issues that you talked about before? How do you make the decision who comes first, who goes out the window, and what we're going to spend time on going forward?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. The way we look at it is really the strategic partnerships that we're talking to. And what they're interested in. Right now, there's a lot of interest in adrulopase. We've got several companies that we're talking to. They want to see us go to the next iteration, so that can bring in some potential licensing dollars into the company. So that's helping us, I would say, forcing us to make the decision at this point. We have to go where the opportunity is.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Especially with a publicly traded company like that. Once again, his name is James Sapirstein. He's the president, chairman, CEO of a company called First Wave Biopharma. Their stock symbol FWBI. You're looking at their website there, at least our TV audience is, and you can go to firstwavebio.com. I got to ask about the COVID virus, and I got to talk about the monkeypox with you because you're the tip of the spear for us and always have been, James. Are we? Where are we in the arc of this story? Are we? This time last year, you were warning us about an Omicron virus, and you're warning us about the Lambda and the Delta variants and so on and so forth. Talk about where we're at right now as far as what you're hearing on the street.
I think with COVID, we're going to be okay. This new Omicron vaccine that's coming from Moderna and Pfizer seems to be fairly effective, so it should, ward off the next wave. But again, a lot of folks didn't want to get vaccinated. My argument is there's a lot less people dying per capita now than there was before. You still can contract COVID, but you're not going to die from it. Number one, monkeypox, I think it's kind of an open label here that we're just not able to produce enough vaccine. However, there are a lot of vaccine companies looking at this right now. I'm actually on the board of one, and we've got some interesting data on monkeypox. So I think you'll see a leveling off. We may have already peaked in monkeypox, and I think we're going to be okay.
Are we to the point now where we're going to get a flu vaccine every year, a COVID vaccine every year, a monkeypox thing is every year, and a shingles vaccine every year? I mean, and by the way, which brings us to the point of how our body's going to adapt to that, to where none of that works at some point. What's your opinion of that?
Yeah, I would tell you some of the above. Shingles for sure, the flu vaccine for sure, and COVID vaccines for sure. I think you'll see that every year until we find a drug that resolves this problem altogether. Monkeypox, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a select few types of patients that get it, and I think it'll be okay. They're still trying to figure out how the kids are getting it, but it's like anything else. It's a small number. So I don't think we'll get monkeypox vaccines every year.
So, James, before I let you out of here today, what's next for you here in the next 18 months? I know you guys have done quite a bit of regrouping in the last probably 6 months. Next 18 exciting for you? Are you excited about it, or are you tepid about it, or what's your personal feeling about it?
Well, I'd love to tell you I'm excited, but I've got to see what happens with these markets. The rumors are from the bankers that the market is starting to rebound a little bit slowly. September is going to be a big kickoff for us, and if we're able to get out there, get our data out there, it's going to be an exciting 18 months. But right now, I think midterm elections are hurting.
Very good. James Sapirstein, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. James Sapirstein, First Wave Biopharma. FirstWaveBio.com.